If you've been up to the hype lately, one of the most popular anime right now is The Promised Neverland, or in other words, Yakusoku no Neverland. If you haven't seen it yet, then I'm not one for spoilers, so I suggest you go see it. I assure you, you won't regret it. If you're one of my fellow Promised Neverland fans, then let's have a talk. A serious one. The Promised Neverland is a manga anime made by Kai Shirai. It's a new storyline that's intriguingly amazing. The story's based in an orphanage at Gracefield House. The three main characters are Norman, Ray and Emma, the most gifted children of the orphanage. Emma's caring, Ray's intellectual, and Norman's considered to be a genius. It's the first orphanage to have three gifted children all at once. But one day, these children figure out the horrific truth about their orphanage and finally decide to take a leap for it and run. They figure out it's nothing but a farm and they're the harvested meat of it. So now let's get back to what happened to Norman. Have you thought about what happened to him? I couldn't grasp the thought of him dying after the last scene where he was taken to the headquarters. It's quite shocking for him to die in the first season considering he's a main character. It's unpredictable and does seem highly unlikely. So what actually happened to him? Before Mom or Isabella took him to the headquarters, she said to Ray that things have changed, and by that statement she was actually referring to Norman as his shipment day was released and said to be tomorrow. Before that, the boss, probably the King Demon, wanted a special delivery, a special meal, which he was preparing for him for a long time. It was also stated that his meals weren't like the other ones, it should be one of the most special high quality humans. So when she said it was ready, was she referring to Norman? Probably yes, right? Before we get to the theories of what actually happened to Norman, let's get into his head a little bit and delve a little into his character and lifeline. Norman's one of the smartest human beings raised in the farm, and even though he's feeble and not as strong or as fast as Emma, he always beats her at tag because of his strategic mindset. He once told Ray that he always gets what he wanted and always will. Now that says a lot about Norman. How could someone so smart accept his death so easily without fighting? Before he made the decision of going back to the farm to Isabella and go to the headquarters, Norman climbed the wall and saw nothing but a cliff. He stated that it was impossible to cross to the other side because of that cliff unless they crossed the headquarters ceiling. Theory 1. The most obvious theory is the one that they insinuated in the anime, which is Norman is actually dead. After he realised that the plan of him escaping was too risky and would put his best friends Ray and Emma in danger, he preferred to sacrifice himself instead of getting one of them, or both of them, killed. This theory is backed by the fact that after he climbed the wall, he realised that he can never escape from the farm and succumbed to his despair and wanted to get it done as soon as possible, which made him go back to Isabella and accept his fate. Theory 2. This one's more hopeful. As I've said before, Norman is one of the three main characters, so removing him from the plot and killing him before anything's said or developed is highly unlikely, which leaves us to think that he's actually alive, out there, still breathing and living, but maybe not to his expectations. As we've seen in Crone's memories, there were humans out there in the headquarters that either served as scientists or people who brought clothes or food to the orphanage. Since Norman's the smartest of the three, there's a high probability that he was handed to the headquarters to be trained to become a scientist and figure out how to breed more intelligent human beings that will serve as high quality meat. He'll probably grow up to be a scientist that will keep experimenting on humans or animals to figure out the perfect genes that will satisfy the noble families of demons and produce high quality meat. He'll probably forget his purpose to escape the farm and turn the world upside down and create a place for humans to be humans and not only meat. Theory 3. Now if you remember Norman's words, he said that he always gets what he wants. What he wants currently is to stay alive, but also to escape the farm. Maybe Norman outsmarted Isabella and figured out a way to turn on her and escape from inside the headquarters. Perhaps now he's playing the most dangerous tag game ever, running away from them or serving as a spy inside the headquarters, figuring out ways to turn on the demons and release his human friends to the world. Norman always gets what he wants, and Emma is what he wants too. He wants her to stay happy and to always smile. He knows that being killed will kill her too, so he can't take the chance of making her sad by dying. Instead, he might have cut a deal with Isabella to behave inside the headquarters and is planning the most dangerous escape and tag game ever. Theory 4. Now, this one isn't really that hopeful. Before Norman went to the headquarters, he only packed the one happy memory of his childhood, which are the cups. Why is that though? Why didn't he pack properly? Wasn't he afraid that others would be suspicious? That made me think about this theory. Maybe Norman knew he wasn't going to die after Mama bailed out on Ray. She must have needed another spy or a traitor. Remember when Norman asked Emma what she would do if she found the traitor? Perhaps he asked her that question to proceed with his plan. He might have thought of becoming a traitor sooner or later and was probably the one who warned Mama about Crone and about Ray being a double agent. Instead, he may have cut a deal to stay alive, so he'll probably turn out to be the biggest antagonist in the anime and turn to the demon side to help them all the way. Norman, who outsmarted every move and thought about every scenario, must have thought about early shipment or how Mama could find them running away to the wall that day. For him to not think of that or be ready for that kind of situation, it just doesn't add up. So maybe Norman will turn out to be a traitor after all. Theory 5. Now for this one, maybe the boss and the one controlling all the demons, the one who Isabella's preparing the most special meal for, is actually a human. He needs someone smart, one of the smartest, so we know that applies to Norman. The boss probably needs a right hand he can trust and he can plan with. The only person qualified for that position is Norman, and that's why when Isabella opened that door, instead of a fearful face, Norman was actually shocked. He probably met the one behind all the chaos in the world, and it turns out he was just a human who was looking for a right hand, but also someone who would take the throne once he reached old age and needed to retire. Norman's IQ can't go to waste, and Isabella knew that, so she prepared him her whole life for that. Even she admitted to them that they were so special that she would never take her eyes off them. So she wouldn't give out Norman to anyone as he was so special. He didn't even finish his 12 years yet, so he probably wasn't going to be killed and turned into a meal. Instead, he was chosen for a greater path, which is to be the boss's right hand. Theory 6. Now this is the last one, and I think it'll be obvious too. On the night Norman was supposed to be adopted, he was taken to the headquarters to serve as a test, where other scientists experimented on him to figure out a way to produce high quality meat just like him. Also, Norman was feeble. They figured out that what demons care about is the brain. Your physical endurance doesn't mean a thing, so Norman was probably going to be kept hostage for all sorts of experiments to produce the likes of him and serve as a sperm donor to produce high quality intelligent babies that will then be transferred to the farm to then be harvested. So what do you think? Do you agree with any of these theories, or do you have something else in mind? Share your views in the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to the TV Region, and also hit the bell icon to never miss any new uploads. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook and also contribute to my Patreon. Link is in the description box below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on the TV Regent.